Okay, Namo Buddhaya, Vandami Bante, Sukhi Hontu Dhamma friends from near and far. Let us bow 3 times to welcome Bante Dr. Dhammapada. Shall we? First bow, second bow, and third bow. Welcome to Metta Lodge Durutu New Moon Uposatha Day, a day of Dana, Sila and Bhavana. I'm Yen, your MC for this session. Please allow me first to give a brief introduction of Bante Dr. Dhammapada, who is also our spiritual advisor. Bante was ordained as Uposatha Bhikkhu in Wat Chong Kada under the most respected Chalgun Praraj Thammatara. Subsequently, he sought spiritual dependence under the guidance of Bante Dhammasakaro Mahatero. After 15 years of studying Buddhist philosophy, Pali, Sanskrit literatures in Sri Lanka and Hong Kong, he obtained a doctorate of philosophy in Buddhist study under the supervision of Professor Venerable K.L. Dhamajyoti in the University of Hong Kong in 2009. And after that, he was appointed as Chief Editor and Spiritual Director for the Buddhist Door website, as visiting Assistant Professor at the Center of Buddhist Studies in the University of Hong Kong. And in 2011, he became founder and abbot of the Center of Mindfulness in Hong Kong. In 2016, he became founder and abbot of Brahma Vihara Monastery and Retreat Center in Malacca, founder and abbot of Bodhivana Monastery of Sungai Pelet, 2019, and in 2021, he became the monastic advisor of Theravada Buddhist Council of Malaysia. Bante became religious advisor of Metta Lodge Buddhist Johor on Sunday, 8th of August, 2021. He is also the religious advisor for Sramban Sudama Buddhist Society. Bante has traveled frequently to conduct meditation retreats, Dhamma talks, Dhamma camps for youth and teen and academic teaching across Malaysia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and China, and is also actively conducting Dhamma talks and teaching live on Facebook and Zoom. Well, Bante is really, really busy. We are very glad that Bante also actually agreed to be our spiritual advisor considering his busy schedules. Thank you, Bante. Okay, now next, let's look at today's program. After this brief introduction, let's look at the Uposatha program. There will be a briefing. There will be an opening speech by our chairman, and after that, briefing by Bante on the 5 and 8 precepts, after which we will have morning chanting where Bante will administer 5 and 8 precepts. Sister Rachel will do the Namo Tassa 3 refuges and 5 precepts, and Sister 𝐾𝐔𝐑𝐔𝐑𝐔 the 8 precepts. After that, after morning chanting, we'll have a guided meditation, followed by a short Dhamma talk entitled 16 Stages of Mindfulness of In and Out Breathing. After which, there will be a self-meditation instruction by Bante, followed by Q&A, and we hope to end by 11, during which we'll have self-practice by members. And due to the not enough time and not enough, I think, manpower. We will not have any afternoon session. Yeah? So we will have the second session at 7:30, whereby we will have this evening chanting by Bhante, and another Dhamma talk, contemplation of feelings. If you have any questions, you can ask during the 9:15 Q&A session, after which we'll have a reading of dedication of merits by Sister 𝐾𝐔𝐑𝐔𝐑𝐔, and Bhante will then we'll have sharing of merits with departed relatives and blessings by Bhante, followed and end with parting words by our chairman. Okay. So now I shall call upon our chairman to deliver his opening speech. Over to you, Brother Lim.
Namo Buddhaya, Wandami Bhante, Sukihantu, Upasaka and Upasika. Welcome to 𝐷𝗏𝐻𝗲𝐿 Pusat Buddhist Johor. Happy Durutut, New Moon Uposatha, and Happy New Year. Time flies, so is time left to live is also gradually lost. See clearly this danger of death. Let us nurture the samvega or spiritual urgency to practice. Let us venerate Durutu, New Moon Uposatha, by observing a day of dana, sila, and bhavana. Let us uphold the Buddha's teaching by observing pariyatti, patipatti, and pativeda. Pariyatti as to learning the Tipitaka and attending Dhamma classes. Pariyatti as to putting the Buddha's teaching into practice in our daily life, by what we are doing today, practicing dana, observing precepts, and practicing meditation. Patipatti as to gaining wisdom and insights via meditation. Without further ado, let us put our palms in Anjali to pay respect to Bhante Dr. Dhammapala. First bow, second bow, third bow. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I hand over to the MC.
Thank you, Brother Lim. Okay. Bhante, may I hand over to you to commence with our morning chanting and administer the taking of the 5 precepts, 5 and 8 precepts now. Oh, thank you.
Good morning. Today is Durutu New Moon Uposatha Day, and it is a cultivation day for Buddhists, including monastics and lay people. So let us purify our mind and cultivate good deeds and wholesome action today. The Buddha taught us that Uposatha Day is a day for the cleansing of the mind and bring about inner peace and joys. So on these days, both the Sangha and ladies will make a conscious effort to intensify the practice. Particularly, the lay people will go to the temple for a day and night to observe at precepts, listening to the Dhamma talks and meditation. So it is a day with conscious effort for the practice of the Buddha's teaching and meditation. So I'm also would like to give in Chinese for those who cannot understand English. 今天呢是佛教的布萨日啊，有时我们会称为斋戒日。那布萨的意思是什么呢？就是佛陀呢教导，就是布萨日呢，就是为了 净化污染我们污染的心，那从而获得内心的平静和喜悦。所以呢，在这一天在家人、出家人呢都会来寺院就是修行比如说在家人会在这一天呢布施、持戒闻法，还有就是修禅定。那当然出家人也会在这一天呢就是诵戒所以呢斋戒日或者是布萨日呢就是我们佛教呢非常重要的日子就是从而能够来修学佛法和禅修的日子。So let us start by paying homage to the triple gems. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Suakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. The Uposatha's Observance. The precepts is a discipline for a layperson, so-called temporarily renunciation. And the Buddha said, by undertaking the Uposathas with 8 precepts for a day and night, you will live like as the Arhat, who is very compassionate, pure, and wise. 所以今天受持8戒呢是专为给在家人就是可以暂时得到处理的修持。那佛陀说呢在家人1天1夜受持8戒呢可以舍去世俗的生活，可以过这呢圣洁清净比如这个阿罗汉的这个修行，阿罗汉的这个行持，充满慈悲清净和有智慧的生活。If you look at the 8 precepts, you will find the 5 fundamental precepts. Okay, so what are these 5 fundamental precepts? It says that a noble disciple, a bhikkhu, noble disciple reflect this. A noble disciple, as long as they lived, abandon and abstain from the destruction of life. Okay, with the rod and weapon, laid aside, conscientious and kindly, they dwell compassionate towards all living beings. So this is the first one. Okay, for those who can read Chinese, you can read the Chinese. Okay, so we are not going to repeat it. And the second one is the abandoning and abstaining, from taking what is not given, right? And they take only what is given and expect only what is given and dwell honestly without thought of thief. So today, for this night and day, I shall live as the Arhat, do for all their life. So this is the second factor. And the third one, a noble disciple, right, reflect thus, as long as they lived abandoning sexual activities and observe celibacy, right, then abstain from the sexual intercourse and the common person's practice. And today for a night and day, I shall live as the Arhat, do for all their life. So this is the third one. And the fourth one is abandoning and abstaining from false speech, right? They speak the truth, adhere to the truth, and they are trustworthy and reliable, not deceivers of the world. So for this day and night, I shall live as the Arhat, do for all their life. So this is the 4 factors. So the fifth training is a training, to abstain from the liquor, wine, and intoxicants. And that is the basis for the heedlessness. So today, for the day and night, I shall live as the Arahat. Okay, so this is the fifth factors. Now we look at another three more additional precepts. Okay, three additional precepts. So it says that, as long as they live to eat once a day, abstaining from eating at night and from food outside the proper time. Okay, so this is the sixth. And the second and the seventh, that they are abstaining from the dancing, singing, instrumental music, and unsuitable shows, and from adorning and beautifying themselves by wearing garlands and applying the scents, etc. So this is the seventh. And the eighth is abandoning from the use of high and luxurious bed, right? And they lie down on the low resting place, either a small bed or the straw mat, right? So for today, for these nights and day, I shall live as the Arahat. Okay. So these are the 8 precepts that we're going to observe for the Uposatha's Day. And it says that the Uposatha observance is complete only when you observe these 8 precepts. Then it will bring great fruits and benefits, right? And of course, as compared to the the divine happiness, our human kingship is poor, like comparable to a divine happiness. So now, what are these happiness? Of course, people expected something, right? By observing the 8 precept, they expected, as they are breaking out the body, right? He will reborn in one of these 6 heavens, right? And of course, considering the happiness in this heaven, they are far more superior than the human happiness. Okay, you look at this, the number of years, in this 4 great kingdom is of, the lifespan in this 4 great king is 500 years, imagine, right? So imagine, 50 years of human years is about 1 day of the life in the 4 great king. Imagine 500 days of 4 great king, how many years in a human life? So you can multiply yourself. So that's great, right? So the life there is very happy and lifelong also. So those who wish to live a long life, probably heaven is a very good place. But of course, the condition is that you have to observe the 8 precepts. 所以呢，我们说受持8戒的好处在哪儿呢？就是可以令我们往生到这个6个天界。那当然，这6个天界呢，快乐呢远远超越了世间所有的快乐。And for this observance, right, we have 2 parts. One is observance of 5 precepts, and another one is 8 precepts. Okay, so first we will do the 5 precepts. And of course, for those who wish to continue the observance of 8 precepts, you can recite after the 5 precepts. Okay. And can someone request for this, for the 3 refuge and the 5 precepts?
Bante, I will. Rachel here.
Okay.
Aham Bante ti sararena saha pancasilang Dhammang yacami anugahang katwa silang detami Bante lutiampi aham Bante ti sararena saha pancasilang Dhammang yacami anugahang katwa silang detami Bante tatiampi aham Bante ti sararena saha pancasilang Dhamma yacami anugahang katwa silang detame Bante.
Can you request in Chinese? Rachel, can you read Chinese?
Yes. 诸尊者 弟子众等今亦受持三皈依以五戒，三请尊者慈悲摄受。Sadhu Bante.
Yamahawadamitang vadehi.
Amma Bante, 如是尊者。
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tisarna gamanang nititang.
Amma Bante.
Pancasila. Panati pata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu miccācara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu miccācara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Surameraya majapamadatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Surameraya majapamadatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Imani panca sikkhapadani samadhiyami.
Imani panca sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani panca sikkhapadani sammadhiyami. Imani panca sikkhapadani sammadhiyami.
Idang me punyang
Idam me punyang
asavakaya wahang hotu.
asawakaya wadhang hotu.
Idang me silang
Idang me silang
Ing banas pacayo hotu.
Nibbanasa pacaya hotu.
Tisaranena saha pancha silang dhammang sadukang gatva apamadena sampadeta silena sugating yanti silena bhoga sampada silena nibuddhing yanti tasma silang visodhaye.
Amabante.
Okay, so now for those who wished to observe the 8 precepts for a day and night can recite after me. And these 8 precepts are taken from the morning and until the sunrise, the following day. So if you have observed 5 precepts, you wish to observe the 8 precepts, you may do so, and you can also recite after me, right? 所以呢，我们现在要受持清净的1天1夜的8戒啊，也可以跟随我一起念啊。那么呢，这些呢，到了明天天亮了就可以死了8戒了。所以，假如你们已经刚才有念5戒啊，你们当然也可以受8戒啊，也可以跟随我一起念。Someone request?
Yeah, okay, Bante. Ahang Bante tisaranena saha atanga silang damang yachami anugahang gatwa silang deta me Bante dutiyang pi ahang Bante tisaranena saha atanga silang damang yachami anugahang gatwa silang deta me Bante tatiyang pi ahang Bante ti saranena saha atangga silang damang yachami anugahang gatwa silang deta me Bante.
Ya mahavadamitang vadehi.
Ama Bante.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami.
Tisarna Gamanang Nititang.
Ama Bante.
Attahanga Sila. Panati Pata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Abrahmacharya Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Abrahmacharya Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Surameraya Majjapamadhatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Suramiraya Majjapamadhatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Vikala Bhojana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Vikala Bhojana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Nacha Gita Vadita Visukadasana Malaganda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhosanatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Nacha Gita Vadita Visukadasana Malaganda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Imang Atanga Silang Samadhiyami.
Imang Atanga Silang Samadhiyami. Imang Atanga Silang Samadhiyami. Imang Atanga Silang Samadhiyami.
Idang me punyang asavakaya wahang hotu.
Idang me punyang asavakayam wahang hotu.
Idang me silang nibbana sepat cayo hotu.
Idang me silang nibbana sa pacayo hotu.
Tisaranena saha attanga silang dhammang sadukang katwa apamadena sampadeta Silena Sugatiyanti, Silena Bhoga Sampada, Silena Nibutiyanti, Tasma Sila Vesodaye.
Ama Bante.
Sadhu. Buddha Vivadana. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhanusati. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho. Vijacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu. Anodaro purisa dhamma sarati sat tadeva manosana buddho bhagavati. Dhammanusati. Soakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko ehipasiko opanayiko pachatang veditabo vinyohiti. Sanghanusati. Supatipano bhagavato savaka sangho. Ujjapatipano bhagavato savaka sangho. Nyayapatipano bhagavato savaka sangho. Samicipatipano bhagavato savaka sangho. Yadidang cattari purisa yogani atta purisa pogala. Esa bhagavato savaka sangho. Ahoneyo pahoneyo dakineyo Anjali karaniyo anutarang punyaketang lokasati. Chetya Vandana. Vandami chetiyang sabang sabata nesupatititang saririka dhatu mahabodhi buddha rupang sakalang sadang. Bodhi Vandana. Yasamole nisinova sabari vijayang akang pato sabbanyutang satta vande tang bodhipadapang ime ete mahabodhi lokanat tena pujita ahang pite namasami bodhiraja namatute. Uppa Puja. Vanaganda gunopeta etang kusuma santati. Pujayami munindasa siripada sarorohe. Ojemi Buddha Kusumena Nena Pungena Metena Chehotu Mokam Popang Milaya Tiyata Idang Me Kayo Tata Yati Vinasa Bhavang Ganda Sambara Yutena Dupena Sugandina Pujaye Pujane Yanda Puja Bhajana Motamang Padipa Puja Ganasara Paditena Dipena Tamadansina Dilokadi Pasambuddhang Pujayami Tamonudang Mangala Sutta Eva me sutta eka samayang bhagava savadiyang viharati jetavane anatapit dikasa arame atako anyatara devata abhikantaya ratiya abhikantavana kevalakapa jetavana obasetava yena bhagava tenupasangkami upasangkami tva bhagavandang abhivadetua ekamandang atasi ekamandang titakosa devata bhagavandang gataya ajabasi bahudeva manosacha mangalani acintayong akankamana sotana brohi mangalamuttamang asevana chabalana panditana cha sevana Buddha cepu caneyana etang mangalamuttamang Padero padesava soce pobece kata punyata atasam mapanindice etang mangalamuttamang Bahusat chancha si pancha vinayo cha susikito Subhasita chaya vacha etang mangalamuttamang Mata pitu upatana Buddha sanggaho Anakula cekam manta etang mangalamuttamang Danan cedam mecariya ce nyatekanan ce sanggaho Anawat jani kamani etang mangalamuttamang Arati virati papa majapana ca sanyamo apamado ca dhammesu etang mangalamuttamang garavo ca nivato ca santati ca katanyuta Kalena Dhamma Savana Etang Mangalamuttamam Kanti Chaso Vacha Sata Samana Nancha Dasanam Kalena Dhamma Sakacha Etang Mangalamuttamam Tapo cha brahmachariyan cha ariyasat chana dasanam nibbana sat chikiriya cha etang mangalamuttamam Uposatha Observance Citang Yasanakampati Asokang Virajang Khemang Etang Mangalamuttamam Patidana Etavata Cha Amhehi Sampadang Punya Sampadang Sabbe Deva Anumodantu Sappasang Patisiddhya Etavata Cha Amhehi Sampadang Punya Sampadang Sabbe Buddha Anumodantu Sappasang Patisiddhya Etavata Cha Amhehi Sampadang Punya Sampadang Sabbe Satta Anumodantu Sappasang Patisiddhya 愿以此功德普施于一切，唯愿诸天神各类益众生得获诸利乐。萨埵萨埵萨埵。Okay, good morning. So now we start the Dhamma sharing. Yeah. So as we know, the Prince Siddhartha, right after his renunciation, he embarked on his journey spiritual practice. Right? You know, he renounced and become a samana. Right? And he learned from several teachers at that time, but of course, with no success, then he continued his own practice. So in the Mahasajjaka Suttas of the Majjhima Nikaya, there are three similes, right, occurred to him, of which the third one suggested him that the defilements are able to be abandoned only through the severe practice of austerity. Okay, then only one is able to realize the supreme enlightenment. So this third simile, right, giving him clues that enlightenment is possible, right, through the severe practices of austerity. So this is how the austerity practice, you know, goes on. It says first, he took a very little food, a very handful each time, and because of eating too little, his belly skin, right, adhered to my backbones. Thus, if I touch my belly skin, I encounter my backbone. And if I touch my backbone, and I encounter my belly skin. And because of eating too little, if I defecated or urinated, I fell over on my face there. And because of eating so little, if I try to ease my body by rubbing my limbs with my hands, the hair rotted at its root felt from my body as I rubbed. So this is, his descriptions of ascetic practices. So until his body, shriveled and withered. So this is the descriptions that you found in the suttas. 那么太子呢出家之后啊，那么就跟随当时很多出名的一些修行人就是他们的座下学习。但是呢，他还是没有办法获得解决，所以呢，他还是放弃了。所以呢，他就决定自己修苦行。那么在一部经中部的一部经就是寻找苦行灵经这部经呢，在这部经里面有出现3个比喻，就是这个比喻呢是他以前没有听过的比喻，尤其是在第3个比喻呢，就是说，因为当时他还是菩萨嘛，就是还没有成佛，所以呢，菩萨呢他相信就是透过这个苦行呢可以得到解脱，所以呢苦行的方法就是激发了这个菩萨的这个斗志，所以呢，他相信唯有透过不断的这个折磨身体不断的修苦行那烦恼呢才能够断除。所以菩萨一开始的时候呢他就认为这个修这个苦行呢是唯一的这个途径，解脱的途径。所以呢，因为这第3个比喻的启发呢，所以呢，太子决定修这个极端的苦行。所以呢，这是在经文就是那个寻找苦行经文其中一段的经文他是这么说的就是可以理解他的苦行是真的就是常人没办法想象的就是因为我吃的少我的腹部呢跟脊椎呢连接在一起，当我按着我的腹部时我能够触摸到我的脊骨，当我按着我的脊骨的时候呢，我可以触摸到我的腹部。我因为呢食物少，当我去大小便的时候呢，我就倒在那里了那因为呢我吃的少当我用手呢按摩这个四肢的时候呢，那坏死的体毛很容易的就从我的这个肢体掉下来所以呢，这个是经文里面提到佛陀修极端苦行的这个途径。Then the Prince Siddhartha, while he was a bodhisattva striving for enlightenment, he considered his practice as the most painful experience, as no one in the past, in the present, nor in the future ever experienced such an austerity. Then he thought, right? Hear the description, right? Whatever recruits or Brahmi in the past, in the present, or in the future, have experienced painful, racking, piercing feeling due to exertion. This is the utmost. There is none beyond this. But by this painful practice of austerity, I have not attained any superhuman states. Could there be another path to enlightenment? Right? So while he was thinking, could there be another path for enlightenment? Then another thought that comes in. You see, he said, as if he discovered the path, right? This is the path to enlightenment. It seems he has found the answer. 那么在这个中部这部经里面就是寻找苦行经里面呢，就是佛陀呢经历了这几年的这个严酷的这个苦行呢都发现到没有办法帮到他的这个解脱，所以呢他最终放弃了。那当时太子呢菩萨心想，就是过去现在未来任何沙门婆罗门呢所感受的这个苦受呢，没有比我这个更加强烈了，更加猛烈了，更加激烈了这就是极限了我修习这激烈的苦行呢，但依然不能得到过人之法，难道还有其他的这个道路通往这个觉悟吗？当他在思维他要如何走下去的时候呢，突然间有一个记忆飘来那他就升起了这样的一个心事，就说我 找到了一条通往觉悟的道路他找到了答案So finally the prince bodhisattvas, right, Gautama, he gave up all these extreme forms of ascetic practices. And the bodhisattvas Gautama thought, right, to himself, he said, oh, my body is so weak, right, and I cannot obtain the happiness at all through this. Then he started to accept the offering, the rice, about the boiled rice, milk rice, right, offered by Sujata. Then after eating, right, he regained his strength. And because of this, his earliest 5 companions, right, attendants, also left him. And of course, that's good for him because he becomes alone, right? He can practice alone. So while he was thinking, the way ahead, then suddenly a memory, comes to him that this is indeed the path to enlightenment, right? So what is that? This is the description. It's from the Mahasacaka Suttas, from the Majjhima Nikaya. It says, I recall that when my father, the Sakyan, was occupied while I was sitting in the cool shade of a rose apple tree, secluded from the sensual pleasure, secluded from unwholesome thought, right, states, I entered and dwelt in the first jhana, which is accompanied by thought and examination, with rapture and happiness, bonds of seclusion. Could this be the path to enlightenment? Right? That was his early experience. Then following on that memory, he realized, yeah, this is indeed the path to enlightenment. 那佛陀呢，在这个太子呢，悉达多太子呢，他放弃了这个苦行之后那时他就心里想说，我身体这么虚弱无法得到快乐呢，于是他就放弃了苦行，那又接受了这个我们说这个牧羊女就是 Sujata 的这个供养这个粥那他恢复了这个体力了。那他身边随从5位随从者呢，也因为看到他好像又恢复了这种很舒适的生活，所以就离开他这样子。那现在呢，他就独自一人。那他想到，他那时呢，在菩提树下呢，他就想到说，他在儿时的时候呢，有曾经跟随他的父王就参加一个典礼因为他不喜欢热闹，所以呢，他就选择不参加那个典礼，而独自一人呢，在这个附近的一个小树林就是一棵树下禅坐。那很快的他就进入了这个初禅了那他的内心呢，离开了这个五欲离开了这个不善法就是有内心有寻有思又有离开五欲和不善法所升起的这个喜悦喜跟乐，那他进入了这个初禅了。Okay. Then the Bodhisattvas recollect, right, the method of the breathing in and out mindfulness. So this is what we are going to tell you, to share with you, under this anapanasati, the breathing of in and out, okay, consists of 16 stages, okay. So I will be giving a very brief descriptions of these 16 stages. And of course, after, very soon, right, the Bodhisattvas attained the 4 jhanas and realized the 3 vidyas, okay, the 3 knowledges, right? And what are these 3 knowledges? Is the knowledges of the recollection of past life, right? And the knowledge of the passing away and the rebirth of beings. And another knowledge is the knowledge of the destructions of the taints, of the defilement, right? Then after that, so you can see that this is a path to the Buddha's enlightenment. So as a disciples of the Buddhas, right, we also follow the same path. We follow the path of the Buddha. So this is a very clear guideline for us, right? So you can see the importance of anapanasati, through which one gain into the first jhana, second, third, and fourth, and attain the 3 knowledges and attain the path of liberation. Okay. So these are, the gradual stages to the enlightenment experience. I think it's quite clear, right? It's quite clear. 那当菩萨呢，就是想起，就是要怎么走向觉悟的时候，他就想起了他儿时就是曾经没有人教导的情况下，就是这个触入系法，就是安般念。那么在这个安般念呢，里面有16种次第的这个方法的修行。那么在这一部经里面也提到，也提供整个觉悟的这个次第的这个描述包括就是进入这4禅那么再进入再获得这个三明，就是体证这个三明然后看到这个苦的真谛。这三明是什么呢？就是宿命智 ，OK， 宿命智宿命智呢，就是说可以看到他自己过去呢无数生的这个生活方式，还有一些生活的细节 ，OK 比如说他在过去世呢生在哪一个家庭，姓什么姓什么种姓，他吃什么食物他体会到什么苦什么乐然后寿命有多长，然后死后又去哪里当然这个就是宿命智。那还有众生生死智呢，就是他可以看到众生，就是我们说的天眼明、天眼通可以看到众生。那么众生里面的这个投生，对不对？那么他们种种的他们的这个投生的这个趣他们的业等等等等。那这一个呢，就是漏尽智，就是所有烦恼的熄灭了、断除了。OK Okay, so this is a path to enlightenment, right? As said in the Anapanasati Suttas, it said the concentration by mindfulness of breathing, right, is the one thing which, when developed and cultivated, fulfill the 4 foundation of mindfulness. And the 4 foundation of mindfulness, when developed and cultivated, right, fulfill the 7 factors of enlightenment. And the 7 factors of enlightenment, when developed and cultivated, fulfill the true knowledges and liberation. Here, you will discover that when you cultivate, when you practice this anapanasati, these 16 stages, right? You also complete the 4 foundation of mindfulness. Okay. When you complete the 4 foundation of mindfulness, you also, when developed, right, you will also complete the 7 factors of enlightenment, which are essential for your realization of 3 knowledges and liberation. 那么这是一条呢通往这个觉悟的这个道路了就是16种的这个触入系念。好，那么在这个经文里面，一开始呢就谈到说，这个触入系念就是全修之后呢，能够使这个四念处呢得到圆满四念处就是深受心法那全修这个四念处之后呢，能使这个气觉知就是得到圆满。那全修这个气觉知呢也可以呢使这个三明跟这个解脱呢得到圆满。OK 所以很清楚的就是透过这16种的这个安般念的这个方法呢，很快的我们就可以呢得证这个解脱所以这个是非常重要的。So now, okay, so we will look at these stages leading to the concentration, right? So if you are new to meditation, right, of course, first you have to consult, meditation teacher, right? Then after you receive the meditation, the subjects from your meditation teacher, okay, so then you can retire to a secluded place, right? And of course, when you talk about the secluded place, you see, the sutta also mentioned, you have to go to, either to the forest or the root of the tree or in the empty space, right? In the empty hole, empty space. And those are the places conducive for your cultivation. So, and of course, you have to get your, what I call, your meditation the postures right. For instance, yes, you have to get your leg crossed comfortably, right? And you have to have your upper part of the body held straight, right? And without giving tension. And you place your hand, right, above the other on the lap, right? And the head keep steady, okay? Not too low, not too high, right? Steady, comfortably. And the mouth and the eyes closed, okay? Don't open your eye, don't open your mouth. And of course, unless you are required, to practice some other forms of, the meditation object, right? If not, then you keep your mouth and eyes closed. And another thing is to establish the mindfulness in front, okay, in front of you, right? So this is the sutta say, in front of you. And of course, a lot of interpretation said, okay, where is in front of you? Some say is under the nose. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. So that is to establish the mindfulness in front of you. Then what you do is just mindful, you breathe in, just, okay? The emphasis is that just mindful, you breathe out. Because the passage they found in the sutta is sato wa asasati, sato pasasati. Here the wa is the emphasis, just be mindful. When you breathe in, be mindful as when you breathe out, okay? So this expression is just mindful only, only mindful. And what do you call? You see, so let your breath flow naturally and regularly, through the nostril, right? So yeah, so this is the preparation. You have to have these things right, and so this is the stages for meditation. OK， 那么我不知道哈，在座的有谁哈，可能很多都也是很资深的这个禅修哈，但对于一些初学的哈，我会认为说啊，你们也是要先去找个老师学习吧，好，那么然后呢，之后啊，你们就可以去一个安静的地方，是吧？安静的地方，然后在安静的地方你也有一个很正确的这个姿势。对的，那么这个正确的姿势就是你的双腿要很舒适的就是我们讲要盘起腿那么还有上半身保持挺直，然后你的双手呢 OK 交叉放在你的这个脚踝那么还有就是你的头就是要很端正不要去动它也不要太高也不要太低，对不对那么还有，当然你的这个嘴巴跟眼睛也要关上除非你的这个禅修方法需要你开眼睛的不然都尽量保持眼睛关闭那么之后呢，你可以把你的这个正念呢放在你的这个面前，巴日木卡就是放在前面就是你们要细念的这个地方那怎么做呢？就是只要保持正念呢，在正念的呼吸。OK， 就是知道的入息，知道出息，就是保持正念的入息，保持正念的出息这个是从那个芭蕾舞一段里面就是sato sato 就是 being mindful， wa 呢就是一个 emphasis only。OK， 所以呢这个是一个强调词，就是说只要保持正念只需要呢保持正念就是这样的话很自然的就很有规律的呢一呼一吸呢就是让你的这个呼吸呢在你的这个面前就是指的这个闭口这里通过就是 that's it sato wa OK then okay so now we look at these 16 stages right and it says that complete these 16 stages right you are fulfilling full foundation of mindfulness then the instruction continue when the monks breathe in long. He knows Pajapati. I breathe in long. You see, so here for the first two stages, the training is that of the Pajanati, is that of knowing. So you have to know what you are doing. You see what you are doing. So as you breathe in, you know. Okay, you train your mind to know that you are breathing in long. Okay, then as similarly as you breathe out long, you know that you are breathe out long. Okay, so yeah, so this is kind of what do you call, a very simple discernment of your breath quality. At least you know, as I breathe in, I know I breathe in long. Breathe out, I know I breathe out long. So this is a simple discernment of the quality of the breath. So that is to say, the breath is coming in or going out, right? As long as short, so you know. Okay. So this is very important, right? Noting whether the breath is long and short. So this is a train. So this is the knowing. So these first two parts are knowing. 那我们来看一下，就是经文里面一开始就谈到说，一位比丘当他吸气长的时候，他知道自己吸气长；当他呼长的时候，他知道自己呼长所以同样的，吸短、呼短都是一样。OK， 所以呢，这里面的这个关键词就是知道bhajana，他知道那么其实这个呢是一个准备就是准备什么呢？只知道这个呼吸它是一个非常简单就是一种最基本的认知就是一个最简单的认知bhajana，知道呼吸的出入细长或者是短。OK， 所以呢，这个就是在这个出入系念里面前两种的这个方法就是只要密切的观察知道呢出入系的这个长跟短它都要保持了知。Okay, from this stage onward, right, from the third stage onward, another word is used, that is a training now. The first two is knowing, but from the third stage onward is about the training. So you are trained, it's just like, we have to go for exercise, right? Physical exercise, so we train our muscle, right? So we also have to train our mind. You have to train our mind in the Anapanasati, you train your mind through these stages, okay? So that your mind can become strong, right? And become strong. And when our mind becomes strong, then it's easier for us, to get into concentration and liberation. So our minds need training. Similarly, when you think you need to go for muscle exercise, physical exercise, then we also need to go for mind exercise. Right? So for this mind exercise, how to do it? Through your breathing. So this stage onward is a training of
Sorry, Bhante, for the interruption. I have removed the participants. I think it's unregistered participants. Sorry, Bhante.
Okay. Is it okay now? All right.
Let me remove a few more.
Okay, so I continue, yeah? From the stage from the third stage onward, you train yourself in different stages leading to the concentration and insight. So, okay, so the third one is a training, 𝐶𝐶𝐑𝐔𝐑𝐔. So, what else? When you talk about, the train, experiencing the whole breath, this is the whole breath, right? I will breathe in, you train, experiencing the whole breath, I will breathe out. Okay, what this is the whole breath, right? So this whole breath is about the entire course of breathing movement, right? It's from the beginning of the inhalation, till exam. Then from the beginning of an exhalation till the end, right? So this stage is called the training to experience the whole body, or clearly perceiving, the entire body. What is this entire body? It's a breath body. Okay. Then the fourth is the tranquilizing, the bodily formation or bodily function, right? So that involves a progressive quieting down of the breath and its associated bodily function until, become extreme, until the whole body become extremely, fine and subtle, right? So we will discover, right, when we relax the body, we can relax the body only when we make our breath calm. So you can see, the interconnection here. Okay, so as we quieting down our mind, right, tranquilizing our bodily function, then our breath also eventually become quiet, become relaxed. Okay, so the breath calm, the body also will also become calm. And then what follow is that, the joys and happiness, following the calmness of the breath. 那我们来看第三种的顺念。那第三种的顺念呢是就是这个我学习就是 training 就是学习，就是呢这个就是修学了。这个修学是什么呢？就好比我们说我们要去户外哈，我们要运动哈。运动为什么呢？为什么要运动呢？因为你要有一个身体的健康，对不对？所以呢心理的健康也是一样的，我们也要顺念的啊。要怎么来顺念这个心理的健康呢？那这里面谈到的就是通过呼吸的方法 ，OK， 呼吸的方法。那么透过这样的一个呼吸方法呢，能够让我们的心慢慢逐渐的感受到平静，所以呢第三个过程就是觉知全身我入息，就是知道整个呼吸的这个过程。那么从它的入息开始到中间一直到结束。然后又从它的触息开始到中间到结束所以呢这个步骤呢，第三个步骤我们称为顺念觉知全身我入息和触息 OK， 意思就是体会整个身体，当然这个身体就是呼吸的身体就是清楚觉知全身的这个习气。那第四种呢就是平息身形了这个平息身形这个就是指我们的整个身体的这个功能你的行动各方面呢会变得更加的缓慢下来要怎么来缓慢它呢就是当我们的呼吸呢变得更加细微的时候，更加的缓和的时候，我们的很多动作呢就开始慢慢的平静下来然后慢慢的就变得很微细细微所以呢这样我们就很容易掌握我们的身体。有一个念头起来的时候呢，我们能够观察我们这个身体的，我们每一个念头的这个起心动念所以把我们的身体呢慢慢的放下来透过我们这个很平缓很平稳的这个呼吸，那这样子的话呢，我们的身体呢就会变得更加的放松了所以当身体放松的时候我们当下呢就可以体验这个喜乐这非常重要。Then we look at the fifth and the sixth, right? It says that when the mind is settling down or coming down, right? That is the time, right? You will start experiencing the feeling of joys and happiness. Okay, so you see the emphasis of happiness and joys here. Okay, so the contents of joys and happiness is our experience. Right? Then what is the difference between the joys and happiness? What is the difference between the piti and sukha? It says that this piti, the joys, right, is a delight that accompany a favorable interest in the object. And what is this favorable interest in the object? That is your breathing in and out. So you must have an interest in your breathing, right? Okay, then so this is a joy, right? Then what is happiness? Happiness is a pleasant feeling that accompanies when you're successful in your concentration. Okay, so you can see that the preceding stage is a joy. Once you maintain the concentration, right? You have that, you know, the happiness. And of course, in the Visuddhimagga, there is this description, right? To distinguish between these two types of joys and happiness. It says that, you know, as if a traveler, right, who is on the desert, right? And he was very thirsty, and he is seeing an oasis, right, in the distance. Then at that moment, when he saw an oasis, you know, from a distance, he has that joy, right? Had that joy. And of course, so that joy is giving him strength, stamina, you know, for him to reach to that the oasis. Once he reached there, he drinks the water in the pond, right? And resting under the shade, then he sleep under the tree. So he experienced the happiness. Okay, so what do you call? He experienced, right? Is the settling down of the body and mind, and he experienced the happiness that bring about, you know, the total integration, you know, the total concentration of the body and mind. So that is calmness. So this is a training of the body. Okay, so the training of the body will require two aspects. One is knowing, and one is training. Okay, so what is the purpose of training of the body? You know, to have our mind calm. 所以呢，那接下来我们看一下，就是接下来就是有了，第五，这个是第五哈。那么有了这个平稳的呼吸呢，就可以带来这个喜悦的感受了哈。所以，那么就接下来就有一个比较沉淀的快乐哈。那么我们来看一下，它这个第五个方法就是我学习啊，在吸气的时候呢，体会喜啊，我要学习在呼气的时候呢，体会喜，一个吸气，一个呼气。OK。那接下来我们看哈，就是他学习，在我吸气的时候呢，体会乐；在我吸气的时候，也是体会这个乐。所以这里面呢，在我们学习这个禅修我们一定要让我们的这个内心快乐。只要是一个禅修的人呢，天天呢不快乐，那其实我很怀疑他的禅修到底对不对。当然有时我们在生活里面我们会遇到很多不快乐的事情，但很快呢我们的心情就可以得到调节。一个有禅修的人他很快呢就可以将这个不愉快的事情呢赶快呢就给他调过来。所以呢这个是非常重要，因为平时在我们训练的过程里面呢，我们不断的让我们的内心保持平静，喜乐呢就是内心平静的一种自然的一种成果，是吗？所以呢，喜呢是什么呢？就是我们对这个所缘，就是你的呼吸，就是有一定的这个好感。OK， 那这个乐呢，就是说，只要你能够成功维持在这个镇定的话呢，它是可以带来那种很宁静的这个快乐的感觉，所以这个是乐。或者是我可以用这个简单的这个例子来做这个比较，就是当一个人在沙滩上不是在这个沙漠当他迷路了还是什么或者是水喝完了他其实是非常痛苦的，对对，那当他在远处看到这个绿洲的时候那当下呢他体验的是一种喜，因为他知道说他不会死了所以他内心呢充满着很多的法喜，所以那个法喜呢给他一种的动力无论再辛苦他都要去到那个绿洲所以当他到了那个绿洲的时候他就喝那个池的水然后呢就找一棵树下呢那里屈膝，那他内心呢会感觉到非常的清凉非常的喜悦，所以那种的喜悦，那种的清凉，那种的快乐是内心平静所带来的，就是喝完水之后虚浮沙这样子所以他体验的是一种乐。Okay, now look at the 7 and 8. At this stage, he experienced the mental formation. Okay, as in the 4th stage, he experienced the bodily formation. Here is the mental formation. And what is this mental formation? Of course, you are talking about, he already transcend the physical base, right? And the breath is normally the object of the body, right? And the breath now become the object of the mind, okay? So that is through the sixth sense faculty. So it is only through this stage your breath come to a very deeper layer. It is the what they call the mental faculty to experience the breath. Okay, so that is a very subtle level now. So you can see that the settling of the mind, you know, started from the physical appearance, slowly bring into the inner mind, inner breath, you know. Then it is your mind faculty to experience the breath. So then the next is the tranquilizing the mental formation, right? That brings to the deepening of the calmness of the mind. You see, the whole process is about bringing you to a deeper layer of the mind, the calmness of the mind. OK， 那我们来看这个第7跟第8哈。就第7呢，就是他学习就是在吸气的时候体验心行呼气的时候体会这个心行。所以你看到整个过程呢，都是一种学习的过程。OK 学习的过程，所以这第7的过程呢，就是我们叫做心行。心行是什么呢？就是说，那你已经呢不是用身体呢去呼吸了你的呼吸呢已经成为你心所体验到的这种所缘。OK 就是说你已经不再用眼耳鼻舌身这个5根去呼吸了。你的呼吸已经进入了一个非常深层次的，而你需要的是用第6根，就是意识呢去体验它这个就是体会心行。那么第8呢，就是平息心行那么这个通过这样的一个过程你会发现到呢，你的这个呼吸呢会更加的平息你整个心呢会更加的平静这个过程就让你的心再次获得更加深层次的这个平静。Okay, so now we look at the number 9. He trained experiencing the mind. So you can see that at this stage onward, you start experiencing the mind. As you breathe in, experiencing the mind. As you breathe out, experiencing the mind. So it's very interesting because the word 𝐶𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷, usually when you talk about how to experience the mind, it's impossible, right? It is only when your mind become more and more settled down, your mind become more and more concentrated, then you start experiencing. So it is like what? The example is given is like, you know, our mind is like a mirror, you know, covered with the dirt, dirt, okay, covered the surface of the mind, the heart, right? So our mind is also like that. It's covered by the dirt, so much dust, like, you know, covered by what? Covered by all kind of hindrances, covered by all kind of defilements, right? So as you meditate, you know, you go deeper and deeper layer, you will start. It's like it's clearing, you know, this dirt on the surface of the heart, so to speak. Then you are able to see your own mind. So what is the world of the mind? Of course, the world of the mind is very different from the world of the physical senses, right? For the world of physical senses, we can touch, we can see, right? And there's an object, there's a size, and you can touch, right? Whereas for the mind of the world, it's very different. The mind of the world is like the light, right? And that kind of light will make you more peaceful. Okay, so that is a description. I think that is the most you can get it. And of course, I have a quotation. I have a quote from the suttas. That is from the Upakilesha suttas, right? And the Buddhas, before his enlightenment, while he was a bodhisattva, he also had that similar experience, right? He experienced the light, and the Buddha gave a reason that for seeing the light is because he has removed, you know, the obstacle or the hindrances. So that the mind has become very light, right? What kind of hindrances? You know, in our meditation, we do experience a lot of hindrances. For example, the hindrances of drowsiness, okay, the sloth and torpor, you know, and the doubts, okay, all kind of restlessness, things like that. You see, so these are the hindrances. As you remove all these hindrances, you know, the light then's coming out. Okay, so this is what your mind can experience. It's not other thing. It's just only the light and the kind of, you know, the kind of the calmness, peaceful, that kind of experience. So 好，我们来看这个第9跟第10哈。第9就是就是体验心啊，体验心哈，体会心，体验心啊。要怎么来体验呢？没办法体验啊！你要体验这个心呢，唯有在这个禅定里面体验啊。所以呢，在这个阶段呢，我们说我们的心平时给很多贪嗔痴，很多这些昏沉掉举，很多这些不善的心所给覆盖了所以我们的心呢，给这些就是给这些种种的这些覆盖了那我们看不清它的这个真面目。对不对？所以呢，在我们禅定的时候呢，就慢慢的拨开这些东西，慢慢的把我们这个灰尘慢慢的给它拨开，那么慢慢拨开的时候呢，你就会发现到呢，更加深层次的一种宁静，那拨开的这种感觉是什么呢？就是一种光，而这种光呢，会带给你很安乐的一种感觉，所以我们说，出家人或者是有修禅定的人呢，他是很享受一个人独处的啦，那平常的人呢，你叫他一个人静静的话，他没办法，他一定要找很多朋友一起这样子，或者跑去那些什么disco 夜总会去麻醉自己这样子但是出家人或者是有修行的人呢，他能够呢很平静的一个人他呢很快乐很快乐，OK 所以呢，我们讲说心的那种体验跟这个我们世界这个五官的这个体验呢是不一样的。世界的这个五官的体验呢，就是可以看到的形形色色的，什么声音的可以触摸到的但是心的这种体验呢，就是一种很宁静的、很安乐的一种感觉那么呢，佛陀呢，在他还没有觉悟之前呢，他也是有体验他有谈到，就是说他也是体验，也是看到这个光那么他有讲这个原因，为什么他看到光呢？因为他的一些障碍，就是一些修行的障碍呢，已经开始慢慢的给解除了比如说昏沉掉举疑等等等等的就慢慢的已经开始慢慢的解除掉了那么当这些障碍这个心所呢被克服了我们的光就出现了。这个是在经典里面呢有出现过这样的一个 passage OK 当然我在这里呢我不会去谈其他的事情，我们从经典来谈当然比如说你要谈到什么尼密塔这禅相的东西，这个是在阿毗达摩里面的解释，所以呢我们暂时不去谈那些部分我们先谈就是在这个安般念里面有这样子一个解释那么接下来第10个阶段呢，就是你会发现到当你的心越是平静的时候呢，你已经不是身体的了，已经进入心，所以你的心也同时呢让它欢悦起来So here is a 10th stage, gladdening the mind so it's training. Then the last two, 11 and 12, is about the concentrating the mind and liberating the mind, right? So you're not concentrating. You see, when you come to this stage, almost your mind is very concentrated. And of course, when you come to this stage, your mind also kind of liberated, right? So yeah, the first 12 stages, right, are gradual stages. And you know that enter into the stage of concentration. It means that at this stage, your mind is freed and released. Okay, mind you, don't get confused with the concentration, because the Buddha's emphasis of concentration is not what we ordinary people think of the concentration without bringing any insight. Okay, the Buddha's training of concentration is very different from other teachers, from other shamanas, because our training approach is that, you know, when you want to get into the concentration, you're at the same time also you train to see, you're trying to be aware. Okay, so as you enter the concentration, the Buddha says, you also see things as it is. Okay, so that is a very much different. As a lot of Buddhists, the things that no, I don't want concentration, I want insight, because insight is important. No doubt insight is important, we all recognize that, you see, but the concentration also very important, you see. So don't be scared of concentration. Okay, don't be frightened of concentration. 那么第11跟12呢，我们来看使心入定跟使心解脱。好，那么这个就是当你体验心，让心平静之后呢，带来的一种欢悦，带来的一种平静，带来的一种解脱。所以呢，我们说这个时候呢，我们的心找到自由也找到释放。那在外面很多人都会讲说Bante，我是不修定的，我要修慧的当然没错，你要修慧，我们都说慧很重要，但不要忘了在很多的经典佛陀有谈到的，就是当我们的心定的时候呢，我们也能够如实的见到所以呢，这个定很重要所以呢，我们学佛呢不要太过了排斥这个定啦。因为定呢，它的确是给我们带来这个智慧的所以这个有别于一般外面的这些禅师因为外面的以前早期佛陀的一些修行，外道的一些修行外道的修行，他们定是不带来解脱的，因为他的方法呢，介入的方法呢，跟佛陀所教导这个介入的方法是不一样的。佛陀呢，介入的方法呢是有定跟慧一起进的。所以呢，佛陀非常强调有定呢才能够生慧。当然也有一些情况呢也可以有慧那个是他前世可能他自己的因缘，或者是他前世已经累积了足够的波罗蜜但对绝大部分的人的话呢我们的切入点还是要有定跟慧。好，那这样的话才能够解脱。那当然我们 OK now 11那当然我们就sorry okay, now when you come to the concentration, how to maintain the concentration, right? And I think the key point is you have to maintain the joys of the happiness, the joys of the mind, the joys. So you see the whole of meditation is about the joys. So if you don't have the joys, where you got concentration? You see, the greater the joys in the mind, then the greater the mind. What do you call the brighter the light, the mind, the light of the mind, the brightness, yeah. So then you see how to maintain that concentration. You see how to maintain that joys. I think that is also good if in our daily cultivation, right? In our daily practice, if you can keep the 5 precepts, if you can, keep your good of your moral behavior, right? Or you do good deeds, or sometimes you also recollect the virtues of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sanghas, or at the same time also you cultivate the loving kindness and compassion. And I think more important is how to maintain the smile. You see, the smile in our daily practice is very important, because when you smile, you see that is you can see that the smiling itself can bring your inner peace. And that smile also, you can see that your breath also become more and more subtle. And that is also help you, to facilitate or to make it easier for your concentration. So smile is very important. Of course, it's not easy for us to smile, right? But I think the smile also can be trained. We're trained to smile. Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy. You see the children, you see the small baby, when they smile, it's so cute, and that is their natural spontaneous response. But as you grow older, no more smile already. That is because our mind, you see, tainted by all this unwholesome state of mind. You see, so as you practice, it's like you are back to the baby, so that when everybody look at you, they become happy, right? Then even the God will protect you, etc., etc. You see, so so practice in the meditation can make you younger, Okay, make you younger. So if you want to live long and you want to look young, okay, practice meditation. That definitely helps you. Okay, now, yeah, times. Now we look at the last one. So yeah, the last 4, right, is the last part that is called the contemplation of the Dhamma, right? Dhamma Anupassana, contemplation of the Dhamma. So this is primarily concerned with the vipassana, concerned with the insight, and of course these parts involve, the contemplation of the impermanent, right, and what do you call fading away or dissipation, right, and what else? And 15 is about the cessation, and right, there's a result, after abandoning or defilement. Then the 16 is the relinquishment, right? Relinquishment or letting go. So this also requires a lot of training. As you breathe in, right, you are contemplating the impermanent. As you breathe out, contemplating the impermanent, right? So if you have that kind of training, when you come out of meditation or in your day-to-day observances, right, you also train your mind, okay, seeing everything, you know the its nature of impermanent. So, and you know that one day, when really that day, that things come impermanent, you can let go easily. You won't clutch, cling to it. That clinging, you see, brings suffering. So you see a lot of training, training. So this kind of 4 stages of training is different forms of training, different perspective of your training, different way of seeing things. So that different form of seeing things that also require training. Okay, so as you practice like this, as you put into your practice in the day-to-day life, right, when the conditions ripen, okay, then that very moment, okay, we can abandon all the upside downness of views, right, all the wrong views, right, and we see, the suffering, the truth of suffering, right? We see directly, what I call the 4 noble truth, right? And that is a point where you are no more becoming a Pratijana, a worthling, but you become an Arya, right? You entered into the path of supramundane, and what we call, you attain the sainthood, you attain the Arya. Okay, so this is about the training. It's about the training. So it's about the training of seeing things in a very different way. That's called the vipassana. Of course, pasana means see. You can see anything, right? But vi, with the prefix vi, it means that you are trained, to see these 4 things. What are these 4 things? You're trained to see the impermanent. You're trained to see the fading away. You're trained to see the cessation. You're trained to see the letting go. Okay, so you see very differently. So as the conditions ripen, then you enter into the Sotapanna. 所以呢，最后一组呢就是这种了哈，这34、45、16啊，那么这个就是法念处了啊，就是在我们每一个夫的过程里面啊，你体验的是怎么样的一种体验呢？啊，我们要训练我们的心啊，从这个角度来体验。怎么来体验呢？就是体验它的无常，体验这个无欲，体验这个寂灭，跟体验这个放下、放舍。啊，所以为什么佛陀讲这个 vipassana 毗婆舍那，这个毗啊是什么意思？当然这个是音译字哈。这个 v 的什么意思呢？这个 v 就是说，你从不同的一个角度来看世间的真相。我们一般人看的世间的事情都是颠倒的，对不对？但是呢，佛陀的教导我们的方法是从另外一个角度来看这个世间。什么角度来看世界呢？从它的这个无常的角度，从无欲的角度，从灭的角度，从这个舍余的角度来看。那当因缘成的时候呢，因缘成熟了，我们就可以破除这些颠倒啊！我终于看到了，看到了什么？看到苦了，我看到了是圣地了，那么这时你已经是进入了这个。是处世间道啊，你已经获得了这个圣果，所以呢，这个是整个修行道的这个次第。 Yeah, so this is the, the conclusion, right? As you cultivate the mindfulness of breathing, right? Eventually you will, you complete the full foundation of mindfulness. You also complete the 7 factors of enlightenment. Eventually, you fulfill the 3 knowledges and liberation. 所以呢，这个就是我们刚才讲的这16种的这个次第，这个出入细念呢，它能够使我们的四念处气觉知，然后获得这个明跟解脱能够圆满这个就是这个了OK。那我们的时间还有一点时间，我不懂现在是不是大家有问题 ？Okay, so I leave it to MC now, Mudita.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bhante, for the very enlightening and clear Dhamma talk. From what I understand, during meditation, first we have to get the concentration thing first, right? Before we actually go into Vipassana insight. Yeah? So we need peace, and with the training we can get peace and calm and joy and happiness. Then when we concentrate more, we'll be able to get insight into impermanence and dukkha, and also, of course, this anatta, knowledge, nibbana. That's very, very good. Brothers and sisters, if you have any questions, you can either type in the chat box, or you can actually just unmute yourself, or just raise your hands. If you have any questions to ask, anybody?
I cannot see. I have to switch. Turn this on. Turn to me. I cannot see.
No, brothers and sisters, any questions? 没有啊？
没有的话不要紧。
Okay. Everybody is very clear about everything. I think they will try to do the self-meditation, because we have got a lot of time until we lock in again at 7:30. If you have any questions to ask, you can ask Bhante tonight.
Okay.
There's a slot for Q&A then. Okay? Yeah. Thank you very much, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. So see you tonight, before 7:30.
Yeah.
Meet again.
Okay. So let us shall we first
thank you everyone. Sadhu.
Pay respect to Bhante first, okay? Let's bow 3 times to Bhante. Okay. First bow, second bow, and third bow. Okay.
Can we take a group photo?
Sure. Let's have a nice smile, everybody. Switch on your video.
I have 3 pages, brother and sister, bear with me sometime.